Okay, so as discussed previously, I have started doing a episode by episode breakdown of the TV series Virgin River. I watched the first few episodes of the season yesterday and kind of made notes, and I'm just gonna kind of give you guys an overall rundown. There will be spoilers, so this is like if you're watching it or just watched it, like these are like my thoughts and kind of my synopsis. So yeah, there's gonna be spoilers. Don't watch this if you haven't watched, the actual show, unless you don't care about spoilers. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life or anything, so just giving the good old spoiler alert announcement. Okay, so we're starting now. So spoilers starting now. I have a lot of mixed feelings on how they are doing the show so far. So in the first episode, before we even get to the opening credits, before we get to the opening title, sorry. I have ADHD and squirrel. Before we could even get to the opening title, there was a flashback. I have nothing against flashbacks. I do, however, have an issue with them shoving a bunch of flashbacks down our throat. So it starts like in the opening credit, before the opening credits, in like the intro scene. She's driving the car in present time. It's kind of dark. She's in the woods. This big old truck. It looks like a tow truck or something. Bright lighting her, honking at her, or whatever. Drives her off the road. She bumps her head. Then she goes into this flashback. And again, I've got nothing against flashbacks. I don't. I just don't like how, I don't know who does it, producer, director, whoever, has decided to utilize them in this series so far. But she has like a little flashback where some hottie patati doctors fixing her up. She's within first days of some kind of nursing job at a hospital. Someone knocks her out or something like that, knocks her upside the head. Similar head injury, hence why, she banged her head. In this case, it took her into that flashback because she had hit her head in that flashback. Comes to some old dude knocking on her window, like, hey, you gotta get out of here. You're halfway in the road, halfway in the ditch. Let's get you out of here. This is a typical boomer versus, I'm not really sure what generation Mel is supposed to be in. I don't know if she's like a millennial or if she's like a little bit older, like maybe Gen X. But an older boomer generation versus a younger generation. So typical, what are you doing on the side of the road? Oh, you're not gonna get cell signal out here. Blah, blah, blah. You should know. Da, da, da. Blah, blah, blah. Meh, 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 meh. Situation. And, Mel kind of goes into like why she's there. I was hired to be a nurse. I'm going to be staying here. Do you know where that's at? Oh yeah, everybody around here knows where that's at. Cool, thanks, he's like, oh, you said you're going to be working for the doctor or whatever. That's interesting, or something like that. And she's like, yeah, I was told that, like, he's getting older and needs help with his practice, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets to where she's staying, and not only does she find out that the cabin that she's supposed to be staying at for, like, a year, not only is the cabin a catfish, because the pictures do not match the real life, She also figures out as he's about to leave that the old guy that she's been talking to is the doctor she's going to be working for. So insert foot in mouth. Girl's freaking out about this rundown, falling to pieces cabin that she's supposed to be staying in for like a year. Also embarrassed that she done stuck her foot in her mouth to her new boss. Lady that, I don't want to say tricked her into coming, Hope, that's her name, she's mayor of the town, is like trying to get this cabin together. Obviously, that's not going to happen in, a handful of minutes. So, she tells her to go to the local bar, that they'll get her something to eat. While she's doing that, she'll get her some towels and stuff and kind of like get it at least okay to stay in for the night. She gets to the bar and, bartender Jack is a flirt. So, he's schmoozing it up. He is, laying it on there. He is pouring them drinks heavy. Ends up walking her home. They don't do anything. They don't kiss or anything. She has like a little flashback again. I think she has like 3 or 4 flashbacks. Let me consult my notes here. Oh, okay. So like the second flashback is her meeting her husband like after the whole head injury incident, like at a coffee shop or something. I don't know why they had that in there. Honestly, I really hate to say this because he's like dead or whatever, I think, but her husband kind of comes across as a douche. Not a huge fan. Yeah, Jack doesn't make any moves. Total gentleman, gets her home. Mel has a flashback and cries herself to sleep. She wakes up, and there's like a little gift basket on the porch from Jack with like an encouraging note, don't give up, it'll be okay, blah, blah, blah. Mel goes to the clinic for her first day, and it's about as awkward as you expect. The doctor's really not happy about her being there. He didn't feel like he needed anybody to help him. He's pissed that Hope just brought somebody in, didn't tell him about it. He didn't get the opportunity to, like, vet Mel or anything. So he's being a booty. Mel, he says some, like, really kind of sexist stuff, and, like, honestly, he says some, like, really kind of out-of-pocket stuff about nurses, too, like, oh, back in my day, nurses knew their place, blah, 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 they would never argue with a doctor, blah, 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 and I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy, although he is a boomer, so, kind of, I don't want to say comes with the territory because, like, that's kind of not a great mindset either, to be like, oh, yeah, it's okay because they're old. But I don't know. Whatever. So, yeah, sorry. I'm looking at my notes. I've got notes down here. See? Notes. I'm taking this serious. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. So then, after she, like, yeah. She throws a fit because Doc's being an ass. That's the other thing. In this first episode, she is so whiny. Oh my God. So whiny. In all of, like, the present scenes between all the freaking flashbacks, like, I swear she's just so whiny about everything. So whiny. It makes it really hard to be sympathetic with these flashbacks and stuff that they're throwing at you, with how whiny she's being in the present time. So she goes to Hope and's like, yo, he didn't even want me to be here. So, like, what's going on? The cabin that I'm supposed to be staying at isn't what was pictured. The job, obviously, isn't a real job because the doctor doesn't want me here. So, like, you better start getting this stuff figured out and like soon, because I'm going to be leaving if I don't actually have a job or a good place to stay. So goodness. So she ends up getting set up at like a B&B in town. Jack's going to fix the cabin because he wants her to stay. He's interested. So yeah, Hope and Jack are plotting to keep her there. Preacher is a little bit not happy with Jack because apparently Mel is wearing her ring still. I didn't notice this. But at the end of the episode, they end up showing it. But I hadn't noticed it up until this point that, she's still wearing her ring. So Preacher's like, what are you doing? You had fun last night? And Jack's like, I got her home safe. I didn't stay the night. We didn't do anything. I did see the ring on her finger. I'm not a dummy. And Preacher's like, oh, okay, I'm just making sure. Wouldn't be the first time you were dumb or whatever. Something like that, how two guys talk to each other. So, yeah. Hope ends up talking to, like, giving her, like, a 30-day trial. Whatever. Convinces Mel to stay for now. She comes into the bar after, like, throwing a fit at Hope about the job and... Excuse me. After the job and everything, she goes to the bar and Jack's like, well, let me show you around. Let me show you what the town has to offer. And then he just takes her to the river. He does not even show her around town. He literally just takes her to the river and they hike the river. Which, like, that's great. The river's beautiful. It is called Virgin River, so I'm sure the river is a very important part of the town. However, the rest of the actual town might be something worth touring for someone who's never been here and is going to be staying here for a year so they know where things are. I didn't understand that. But yeah, like the episode ends with like her at the B&B fiddling with her wedding ring. She has like another flashback. Cries herself to sleep again, and then like the very ending of the episode, she's going for like a run because she's a runner, and she runs past the river where she was at with Jack the day before. She's running through town. As she's about to pass the clinic, she sees Jack on the porch with like a laundry basket. So she kind of stops and she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, there's a baby in this basket. So she's like, oh, we should maybe do something about that. And that's how the first episode ends. So, overall thoughts, of the first episode. She's way too whiny. Flashbacks. The flashbacks things, again, I don't have a thing about the flashbacks, but I feel like with like, I think there was like 4 total flashbacks in just the first episode. Like, I feel like with all of that, like, it just feels like we're really rushing her backstory. Like, which pilots are tricky because, like, you have to put enough in there to convince a network that you have a series. So I get that, but, like, I don't know. I feel like it could have been done better, but, I mean, as someone that wasn't the one doing it, I feel like that's an easy thing to say. So, I don't know. I don't like the flashbacks. I don't like the amount of them. I feel like, again, it feels like we're really rushing her backstory. And I just don't see why we're doing that. Other than that, everyone else's characters were introduced really well, normally. In the first episode, I do 5-star ratings. So in the first episode, Mel's 5-star initial impression rating was a 1.5 because, again, she was very whiny. It made it hard to relate to her as a character and really enjoy her. Doc gets a 2 because he's sexist. Hope gets a 4 just because she's kooky. She's always plotting. Jack, he gets a 4. Preacher gets a 3.5 because he's being a little bit judgy and a little bit Paige, she gets a 3. Joey, Mel's sister, gets a 2. So, Virgin River, season 1, episode 1, 1-1, in the books. Let me know what your thoughts were on the first episode. Like I said, I've watched the series through up until present. I haven't watched the newest season. I'm waiting on that. But yeah, up until like the season that just dropped, I've watched it once through. So this is my first time rewatching it. So some stuff I do know. Other stuff I've forgotten. So it'll be like, oh. So yeah. Let me know what your thoughts were on season 1, episode 1. Bye.